Hey, welcome to another episode of Chad's Beer Reviews, continuing with the BJCP style guidelines. We're on style 8B, Schwarzbier, and for that, got a real authentic German Schwarzbier, Krombacher Dark. I don't think I've ever had this one before. 4.7% ABV, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but this bottle's pretty old. It's like it was bottled on, is that April 3rd or March 4th? I can't really tell. But we're going to drink it anyways. It was either this or find some American Schwarzbier that may not be authentic to the style, but may be fresh. So I'd rather stick with the authentic stuff, even if it's old. So let's get right on style guidelines. AB Schwarzbier overall impression. A dark German lager that balances roasted yet smooth malt flavors with a moderate hop bitterness. The lighter body, dryness, and lack of a harsh, burnt, or heavy aftertaste helps make this beer quite drinkable. Let's look at the comments, history, all that stuff. Literally means black beer in German. While sometimes called black pills, the beer is rarely as dark as black or as bitter as pills. Don't expect strongly roasted porter-like flavors. Let's see. Characters and ingredients. German Munich malt or Pilsner malt for base. Supplemented by a judicious use of roasted malts such as carafa types for the dark color and subtle roast flavors. Style comparisons. Darker than a Munich Dunkel, drier on the palate, lighter in body, without a noticeable, or with a noticeable but not high roasted malt edge to balance malt base. Should not taste like an American porter made with lager yeast. Look at our vitals: 20 to 30 IBU, 17 to 30 SRM, and it's pretty light beer, 4.4 to 5.4 ABV. So let's go get this in the glass and we'll start drinking. All right, so I got the Krombacher Dark in the Spiegel Lager glass. Let's get right to the aroma. As you would expect, like a little bit of like a, oxidation character there, but I can actually smell like the real base beer here. I'm definitely getting some roasted malt. It's not burnt. It's just kind of a nice roasty kind of thing. It's not to the extent of a stout or a porter. It's a weird thing about Schwarzbiers because they're a lager with roasted malt in them. It's a very kind of unusual thing, but so it's, kind of real toasty bread, like dark toast bread. Getting those kind of floral German hops, like almost like a little minty or something. And like a tiny little bit of a caramel or toffee kind of sweetness, something lightly sweet like that. Let's check the specs. Aroma: low to moderate malt with low aromatic malty sweetness and or hints of roast malt often apparent. Well, that's pretty much exactly what I said. The malt can be clean and neutral or moderately rich and bready and may have a hint of dark caramel. Okay, exactly what I just said. The roast character can be somewhat dark chocolate or coffee-like, but should never be burnt. True. A low, spicy, floral, herbal hop aroma is optional. Clean lager yeast character, although a light sulfur is possible. Wow, I mean, for such an old beer, it's right there. So, it's not great, but I'm going to say 9 out of 12 on the aroma. Maybe we'll come back and bump that up, but I can't imagine bumping that down. Appearance, well, I mean, it probably looks black on camera. Hold up to the sunlight. Yeah, it actually is pretty black. Looks kind of murky, like down here I can see. It's it's like black with like a brown, highlights. Yeah, I'm going to say 44 SRM. It's pretty black. Had about a 2-finger, kind of foamy, maybe frothy, pretty dark tan head on there. Pretty good looking beer. Let's check the specs. Appearance: medium to very dark brown in color, often with deep ruby to garnet highlights, yet almost never truly black. Very clear, large, persistent tan colored head. I mean, I would call that truly black. So, I mean, maybe we'll come back. But, what did the vitals say? 17 to 30 SRM. So yeah, it's probably a little dark for the style, although it might have gotten dark for or after age. I'll go 2 out of 3 on appearance. I'm just gonna hit it because it's like a little too dark, and I think it's kind of murky. But I think again that's from the age of the bottle. So let's get to the best part here. Prost. Yeah. Wow. Nice. Like even before I took it, like as I was tilting it back, I can kind of smell that sweetness in there, that kind of caramel thing I was talking about. And then I started tasting it, and So it's like kind of lightly sweet up front, a little bit of caramel, toffee, something like that. Oxidation probably doesn't help. The kind of like a bready maltiness in there, similar to a lot of these the German lagers that we've had, like like the dark, the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but obviously like way lower in intensity. And I get a little bit of that kind of roasty flavor on the back end. It's nice. Like that is a sweet spot for beers, to have actual roast flavor without it being burnt or acrid or just like super dry. Now I notice like a little bit of a sweetness right on the finish. So it's like, there's a little bit of caramel. It tastes authentic. It's not like any kind of fall, like, natural flavor added or anything like that. It just, they say it should not taste like a lagered porter. It doesn't. It tastes like, I don't know. It's like, it's funny because like my complaint throughout this whole series has been, man, there's all these styles that they're only separated by a hair or two, but once you actually appreciate them and taste them, you can notice a difference between that very fine line there. Yeah, it tastes pretty good, and there's definitely a little bit of oxidation there, but seems to be, or I have a feeling it's to be holding up to the specs. So let's check. Flavor: light to moderate malt flavor, which can have a clean, neutral character to a moderately rich, bready, malty quality. Yeah, so I'd say moderate malt flavor, and moderately rich, bready, malty quality. Yes. Light to moderate roasted malt flavors can give a bitter chocolate palate that lasts in the finish. I really didn't get chocolate. I got more like caramel, which are never burnt. True. It's definitely not burnt. It's just roasty. Medium low to medium bitterness. Yeah, I'd probably put it kind of low. Probably because the hops have dropped out, which can last into the finish. Light to moderate spicy floral or herbal hop flavor. What was on the hops here? I think the hops have really dropped because it's so old. So yeah, I'd put very, very light, earthy floral hop flavor. Clean lager character. True, yeah. No butter, no green apple. Aftertaste tends to dry out slowly and linger, featuring hot bitterness with a complementary but subtle roastiness in the background. Some residual sweetness is acceptable but not required. Yeah, I remember that from other Schwarzbiers, is that you would actually have that lingering kind of roasty flavor. This one, because it's old, it actually finishes quite clean. It's just kind of like a slightly kind of starchy aftertaste, but it's a kind of bittersweet too. It's like you get a little bit of starch, a little bit of like a caramel or toffee kind of thing. But yeah, it's for an old bottle, it's right there. I'm gonna go pretty high on this one. I'm gonna go. Well, I was gonna go 17, but I think that's a little generous considering the age. I'm gonna go 16. How about the mouthfeel? Put it about medium body, medium carbonation, very smooth, fairly clean aftertaste. Very drinkable beer. It's only 4.7% ABV. You definitely session this, no problem. Check the specs. Medium light to medium body, moderate to moderately high carbonation, smooth, no harshness or astringency despite the use of dark roasted malts. True. Yeah, so it's right there. Like I said medium body, medium carbonation. It's acceptable for the specs, so I'm gonna be kind of generous here. I'm gonna go the full 5 out of 5. Overall impression, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. Brings up to a total score of 40 out of 50 for the Krombacher Dark. It's an old bottle, and if you're buying this in America, chances are pretty good it's gonna be old wherever you get it too, but at least it's going to be an enjoyable experience. Yeah, that's still scored really well for such an old bottle, 40 out of 50. So I'm going very long. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.